Good evening, everyone. It's great to be back. Welcome to Footy Classified. We've got a lot to get to tonight, so let's get straight to welcoming our star-studded panel. We begin with the award-winning Damien Barrett, one of the best journos in the country. Damo, welcome to you.
Good evening, Sam.
Jimmy Bartell, the Norm Smith medalist, the Brownlow medalist and the triple premiership player. Welcome you, Jimmy.
Evening, Sam.
And the man who was on 12 occasions, yes, 12, the leading goal kicker at the Essendon Football Club, the legendary Matthew Lloyd. Lordo, great to have you on the show.
Thank you.
Sam, Tom De Koning is the most sought free agent in the game. You've got an update on his situation tonight.
Yeah, a really interesting situation. I think as of 2 weeks ago, there was a resignation internally at Carlton that he was going to join St Kilda on this mega 7-year deal worth upwards of $1.6 million per season. I can tell you tonight that on Friday, before leaving for Perth, Tom De Koning actually asked for a meeting with the incoming chief executive, Graham Wright. They had that meeting above the gym at the football club in Brian Cook's office, the man who is about to leave as chief executive. And in that meeting, Tom De Koning essentially asked Graham Wright, who, as you quite rightly wrote, Damo, a couple of weeks ago on AFL.com, was an agent of change. OK, if I am going to stay at this football club, what is going to change? Really interesting conversation, and I think I can tell you tonight that senior Carlton people walked away from knowledge of that meeting, including some of his senior teammates, thinking, OK, well, we thought this guy was gone, but if he's seeking these sort of meetings, maybe, Damo, there's a chance he stays.
Yeah, look, it's an interesting development, and in asking for the answer to that question, did he actually want change?
I think that there is a senior group of Carlton players who believe that they have enough talent at the club's disposal to get them closer to a flag than what they are. But clearly, and we've been talking, Lordo, on this show for a while, there is change needed. It's just what levers they pull and what Graham Wright decides to do.
Yeah, and I can understand him asking questions of the club before he signs. I think it is a good sign because everyone in the industry was talking that he's probably going to leave. So that is a good sign for Carlton. But to me, he's just about going their best player, and they've got a lot of guys who are just stagnating, poor depth.
Is he their most important player?
I wouldn't have said that maybe 5 or 6 weeks ago, but I reckon right now he's as valuable as anyone at Carlton.
Jimmy, would you stay or would you go?
Yeah, I think he wants to know where the club's going to go. Like, you can't have another year where you've got the ups and downs of the season. And I guess he's wanting to see, well, what are you going to refresh around the football department? What's going to shift in the way we play our football that takes us up and beyond, of course, you know, to play finals, be a top 4 side that a lot of us expected in the last couple of years. And success is a great motivation to stay, and you do sacrifice money to stay part of good teams.
We should say we spoke to Graham Wright before going to air tonight. He wasn't willing to comment publicly, but he did confirm the meeting took place and that it was one of several meetings he's had with Tom De Koning over recent weeks.
He wanted it to sit up for him. He split through a tackle. It's too easy for Carlton right now. Carlton are dominating. Curnow can go over the top. Snapped himself in the end.
Andrew, what was the gist of your quarter-time message?
We're pathetic in the contest.
Short and sweet from Andrew McQualter. He did not miss. Pathetic in the contest. There's 2 storylines. Obviously, the West Coast Eagles have been struggling all of the season under their new coach. The Blues have been struggling, though, in second halves in particular of late. Their coach and their spearhead had their say after the game.
We obviously weren't able to continue to play at the same intensity. The method of football we want to play, in all 3 phases is really clear for us. So our ability to sustain that over the course of 4 quarters shouldn't be determined what the scoreboard's actually doing to us. You're not going to get your own way for 120 minutes.
As a forward, I was loving what we're doing in the first quarter, but obviously you can't play footy like that for 4 quarters.
They can play footy like that for more than 1 quarter, though, and that's been the issue the last 2 weeks, Lloydie. The fact is they come out of the gates really well, and we've seen this not only the last 2 weeks, but if you go back to the start of the season, their first half, but the last 2 weeks in particular, their first quarters have actually outscored the rest of the game, and it's their movement on the forward line. They've got run and zip around the contest, and we know there's an issue with Carlton as far as outside runners. Of course, when Sam Walsh is out the side, apart from Holland's behind the footy, Sard is caught way back. There's not too much run and zip on the game.
No, and you're not going to win games of footy against anyone else bar bottom 4 sides, which is Essendon with their injuries are playing like a bottom 4 club, and the West Coast Eagles. So Not sure what it is. At least they're trying to change things with their ball movement, but I don't know why it just stops.
So what have you seen that they're trying to change? What have you noticed?
Just the run, the overlap, probably the kicking options that they've trained for, because we know how stifled they've been as a team.
Not just bombing it
it
inside.
in and things like that. So and off the back and the chains, but I don't know why it just stops at quarter time.
Now to this game, Oscar Allen finished off the ground after suffering a leg injury late in the piece. It was off the ball. It was diagnosed as a plantaris injury, and that can range from a recovery perspective anywhere from 3 weeks to quite longer than that. Lordo, are you of the view now that with his uncertain future as a free agent, we mentioned Tom De Koning earlier in the show, but he, Oscar Allen, Nasai Wanganeen-Miller and Marcus Bontempelli are the remaining free agents. Are you now of the view that he and the club have now best for him not to play again this year?
I would be. He'll want to get back because he's just had a horror time at Oscar Allen. So it just depends whether his manager gets involved and the clubs all get together and say, this is best for all of us, for you not to come back and play.
I thought doesn't he have to play more in order for... Isn't it in West Coast's best interest, Damo? In order for them to get the ban, to guarantee them pick 2.
Well, unless he does another injury and it's more serious than this one that he's being diagnosed with.
So you think it's not worth the risk?
Well, I hate it when players don't play when they're fit and able to, and I don't think he is. I mean, he looks banged up. He had bandages over every part of his body, including the leg that went down. He's really only had the one complete season of football in the 8 that he's been on a list, and that was an extraordinarily good season. And I know that there's massive interest in him, but there's a bit at stake here. If he used to go down again, the currency on him, Sam, is of I think, a delicate nature.
Right.
And we know the magical herbs and spices will get it to what the AFL needs it to be to help West Coast with that scenario. That's a given. But they're only going to get those offers if he's fit.
So you're saying the AFL manipulates it?
Well, they'll give them the first ban, the first round of compensation if he does go. That's close to a guarantee.
It's ridiculous that we're talking about this. Like, if they were a mid-table team, if they were 10th right now, there's no way that they'd get a first pick.
Yeah, so for them to get pick 2, what's the number, Sam?
Well, we don't know. This is the ridiculous.
Yeah, but is it 900 plus?
It's the total value of the deal, but you're looking at 900 plus for at least 5 or 6
age
years.
and terms and those sorts of things.
Yeah.
Yeah. So they'd nearly drive him to the airport, aren't they?
They'd have to.
Yeah.
Because it's pick 2.
That's right. So
It's like when Melbourne got pick 3 for James Frawley. I know we're many years down the track, but that contract he got at Hawthorn was not worthy of a pick 3 in the draft, which Oscar Allen's in.